two things that I learned over the years to paint better looking water. Welcome to my channel. My name is brushwork. Thanks for tuning in. Fairly simple, two things. One is keep it simple. Okay, that's I know you guys probably always hear this in general, but I see too many people making too many brush strokes in the water, right? And also make those. The second one is making the reflections opposite value of the source. So I'll start on the first one is keeping things simple. I see just too many busy brush marks going on in the water, and it's okay to have it in certain areas where you want the attention too, but all over the place it just looks really disturbing to the eye. You don't know where to look. You should look down here, there. So keep it simple. Even if there's a lot of ripples, try to simplify those ripples down and put those ripples into only areas you want the viewer to look at. Now, it can go the opposite way a little bit too, where you have really still water. It's like glass. Well, you want to you want to disturb the water a little bit, right? Wherever you think it goes, right? You want to have a little bit of a, let's say talking about a lake, you want to have some, if like a duck, swims across, you can see that little bit of line, or a wind is hitting it, you can put those into there. So you're disturbing the surface of the water a little bit. It looks, when it's like glass, it's just really boring. It does. You want to put a little excitement into that water. Within that also is that I see people, let's say it's a creek and it's coming toward you. They paint the value from the top to the bottom of the creek the same value. Well, it's reflecting the sky, and the sky is light on the bottom and it goes darker on the top. So the water itself generally starts out light on the top and then dark as it comes down towards you. That's definitely another sort of a subsection of what I'm saying too. That definitely helps. So make sure you pay attention. You pay attention to that. The other big one is your source. Like, let's say there's a tree and it's a bright yellow tree, right? So the reflection of that has to be a darker yellow tree. It's always the opposite. So if you have a dark tree, a dark green, let's say, then it's going to get a little bit lighter in the reflection. It's always the opposite. Just observe from nature. It always happens. So it's kind of interesting. People that don't paint, that might be listening, if they would listen to, like, well, that's kind of weird, but it is. That's just that's what happens with reflections. And I see people missing it. They paint it the same. So if it's a yellow tree, they're going to put the same value into the reflection. So it's like literally like a mirror, which is it doesn't look right. So also because you're trying to put the focus on either the water or the source itself. It really depends. And then we're getting into this more into design too. You got to pick one or the other. When you have equal amounts, it's just really boring for the eye. When you're splitting something half and half, it is. But I don't want to drift into that. So the values, that's a big one too. Whatever the source is, the value, the reflection into the water has to be opposite. Just observe it yourself. You can even grayscale your photographic image, and you'll see the difference in values. Just jumping back to the beginning is getting too busy with your water. Ocean, like when you have waves, there you can get a little busy, but that's your main focal point generally when the waves are rolling over, right? But not in a creek, a river, or a lake situation. You just won't have that action in it like you would have in the ocean. So keeping it simple is one of the biggest advices I can give you with water and in general. And because the human mind, we say the eye, but it's ultimately the mind, how it perceives, how we perceive the information and we're outputting it. Generally, in the beginning learning stage, we want to detail everything, right? We want to see every little ripple on the water and every detail on that tree. And also, actually, going back to the reflection, the different values is that if you have detail in the tree, the source, then you want to have simplicity in the water, okay? You want to have that simplicity in the water. Do not start having detail within the reflection, because it's going to start fighting the source. So you have to say to yourself, well, what is my main character here? And I'm just throwing this as an example. If you have this beautiful tree sitting by a river or a creek or a lake, I would say, well, either the tree or the reflection. You have to pick one, but you have to put importance on one or the other. I see people putting importance on everything. If you're putting importance on everything, you're not putting importance on anything. And I see this, people just put so much into it. And there's nothing wrong with detail, by the way. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with detail. I'm drifting at this part of my painting stage more towards simplicity, but there's nothing wrong with detail. Like Daniel Sprick is a great example. I like his work, and he puts detail into his work. So look up Daniel Sprick's work too. There's nothing wrong with that. Don Demers, he's a little bit more detailed too, and even when he's painting outside. But I love his work. Beautiful. I mean, he's very, very painterly when you look at it. So I'm not down. I'm not saying don't put detail in. I'm saying put detail into specific areas where you want the eye to go to, and that's a big one overall. And doesn't matter what you paint. It could be still life. It could be figure. It's the idea of simplicity, and simplicity comes through painting. You just have to continue painting, and you start figuring it out. Like, okay, I'm looking back the last 6 months of work. I think I want to keep it simple. And you're looking, and you can look at, obviously there's nothing wrong with looking at other artists' works. It's not for looking at their style, but you just look at their overall simplicity of their work. It's like, I really want to achieve simplicity, not per se copying them. That's bad. That's another recording for sure. But getting inspired by their overall just simplicity of how they handle complex scenes. And I try to show students too sometimes, like, what the image was and what the painting is. That way you get an idea of where I simplify things. I think it's a really important thing to do. And in my recording, you can't see my dog, but she's down here, and she loves to get pets, but I told her to settle down, and she's been pretty good. But yeah, I hope this helps. I hope some of these talks will kind of inspire you. I can give you. I mean, there's a lot of visuals on YouTube. There's a lot of demonstrations in that, and a lot of them are not that good, but there are some definitely good ones. So there's plenty of that, but I don't see a lot of people talking, having a conversation with you, just kind of helping you, kind of inspiring you a little bit, because we need that. We get stuck sometimes, and we do need that. Right now, you can be sitting in your studio, driving in your car, and hopefully it's resonating with you, what I'm saying. You can be thinking of a painting right now and say, okay, yeah, that's what, maybe I got a little busy there. Or you go back to your studio and you look at it, it's like, oh, that's what he meant by reflection. So I hope these talks do that and give you that knowledge. So thank you for listening. Please subscribe and share. Check out, I have some instructional videos too. Also, it's in the information below. And just by subscribing, it just helps the channel. And leave any comments below. I would love to hear you, any comments, any thoughts. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.